look at, I'll just make the screen bigger here, is we're going to enforce tags across all resources. And so my input parameters here is that we're going to look in the region US West 2 in AWS. The tag we're going to look for is the owner tag, who owns these resources. And then if there is no owner, we can tag them with Doug. So let's just walk through it. Here's a description of what we're going to do. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to find all the resources that are missing that tag. So I'm going to run this, and it's going to make a call out to US West 2. We can actually go to the configuration here. It's going to go to the region, which is this variable up here, region, and it's going to find all the ones with the key owner. And it says there are 2 resources out there that are missing the tag owner, and we can fix up to 20 of them at once. So now you can sort of see a headline of what we're going to see here, but I'm going to run this just to make sure that the data is up to date. But as you can see, there are 2 resources here that don't have a tag owner. And as a preview to sort of what we're going to be doing in a second, they're S3 buckets that don't have tags. One of them has expired and one of them is about to expire. So what we can do here is select which ones we want to tag with the owner, and the owner again is that input parameter of Doug. So let's just do one of them. And so we're going to say I want to assign this Doug expired S3 bucket to the owner Doug. And then the last step here is to attach that tag to the resource. And so what this does is it reads in the list of resources, the ARNs, A-R-N. I'm not sure how people pronounce it. I'm going to say ARN. Makes me feel like a pirate. It takes this list of ARNs. It's going to put the tag owner, give the value Doug in the region US West 2. So if I do this, it will complete the process. And we can go back up to the top here and rerun this. And now it'll just say there's only one resource missing the tag owner. And you'll notice that I don't have the grammar fixed in here. It's going to say there are 1 resources. I think we can deal with that. And when I run this now, it's only going to list that one because I have tagged that other resource, right? The one that was expired, I just tagged it. Now, this is running this manually, right? So now I'm attaching tags to the resources. The other way you could run this runbook is you could run it automatically. You could run this on a schedule and set up a schedule to run this. If that were the case, you would be running it automatically and you couldn't come in here and do the clicking and add resources. So this would run, nothing would be checked. So no tags would be attached to any resources. This would run and nothing would happen. But what would happen is this last one would run. And if I run this is going to send a message to Slack. And what it's going to say to Slack is, hey, there are X number of resources missing this tag in your AWS account. So if we come over here to Slack, it's on the wrong thing here. Right, I just sent this, it's 1:14 Eastern. It says there are 1 resources missing the tag owner. Come back to this runbook to add the tags, right? So this is now something that you could run daily if you're going to enforce that every single resource has an owner tag. You could run this daily and send an alert to the team that there are resources missing the tag, the owner tag.
So Doug, just a question here.
Yeah.
For myself and the audience listening to this. The script that you had written above, or the text you had written above, was we can fix a max of 20. Was that just an arbitrary thing that you popped in there? Or was that something unique to the tool here?
It is not unique to our tool. What it's unique to is actually this API that you use to AWS. When you're sending a list of ARNs with the key and value pair to the region, and AWS right here has a limit of 20.
Okay.
So if you had, I don't know, 6,000 things without the owner and you wanted to assign them all to Rob, it would fail because you can't do 6,000 at a time. You can do 20 at a time.
Okay. And
Um,
then the second question that came up for me here was, as you're kind of going through this, um, this is very much as you said, you could schedule this to run, and then let's say 9 o'clock every night or something like that, it would then post a message to Slack to say, hey, here are the resources that need to be fixed. Go here to fix them. That's how this run book has been set up. Is there ever a way that a run book could be set up to automatically fix them so that you don't have to manually go in and click, as you've set it up here, click the the resource names to then add the tag of owner of Doug or whatever your remediation step is?
Certainly, we could build a run book that says, here is the ARN, and I want to assign this to Rob, or I want to assign it to Doug. We could automatically assign everything to Doug, but in that case, like, it's sort of like the principle is you want to assign it in a way that is actually owned by the person who's building it. And if everything's assigned to me, that it's not exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to actually say, like, Rob is building all this stuff in AWS. Why is it assigned to Doug? We don't want to automate it in a way that doesn't make sense. We want to make sure that it's,
which
now,
is a classic kind of challenge within the SRE tech support world, which is a lot of people talk about automating the remediation of problems, but in reality, a lot of organizations and people don't want that. They want maybe automated diagnosis of a problem,
right,
and then tell me what it is so that I can then go fix it myself, because I don't necessarily either trust the machine, or there's a little bit more work that has to be done to get somebody in this case to say, hey, I'm the owner, and
right.
maybe find who that owner is or what have you. So just kind of a point there that I've heard quite a bit in the SRE community over the last couple of years for sure.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if there's 20 devs on the team, we don't want to assign them all to Tom or
Right.
to Jane. We want to make sure that Jane gets hers and Tom gets his, and that way, we understand what's going on. So that's sort of the reason why, in this case, we can send an alert saying, hey, there's a problem, go in and fix it. We could even change this to like list the different resources that are missing the owner tag. To maybe like help jog people's memory, like this one that was created. And some of them would be easy. Like in this example here, this one is called Doug, right? I think I know who owns this one because in the naming, it has the person's name. So, it could be that you run this, and if you have a naming convention for all of your resources, you could go in and be like, I'll just assign this one to Doug. I'll assign this one to Rob. I'll assign this one to Tom, right? And
Yep.
make your way through it that way.